Diamondcraft, the hit viral Minecraft server on YouTube, died away back in 2021. So here's a tour of the server. Hello guys, and welcome back to Rage the Duck, Rage Gamer 432, or really Sergeant Duckling. I know it's been a bloody long while since we last posted, but that doesn't matter. So today we're going to be focusing on the history of Diamondcraft, the great history of Diamondcraft actually, and the possibility of a good future. Now, if you don't know this world, this is Diamondcraft 1's world download. I haven't been on this since the server shutdown, so 2 years. So we'll find our way around, and so starting off, we had our first community build. This is at spawn. We had our iron farm. This thing was insanely efficient. Like, oh well, there's nothing there right now, but during the actual server, those chests were always full of flowers, and we always had to come back and refill them with iron blocks. So we'd have to craft iron blocks. So if we go into our little nether hub that we were starting to create, so our idea with this, essentially just like a cool looking thing. So if we just go over here, so we can fly back over it. So you see all our nether paths that we made, and then here's our nether hub. Okay, so the idea was to expand that over every single little bit, right? Okay, so this is Sir John's house. This is the guy who hosted the server. So, we had our little presents for Christmas. We had all of that stuff. All the chests are empty because of the way that the world download was done. So this guy, I can't actually remember how we met him, but he decided that he would host the server for us. Minecraft Detective Agency, the DCDA, was formed. So we had this little post office, as we called it. It never really got used because by the time we created it, it just, no one ever actually played that much. So now you need to take into account when we played this, it was during lockdown for COVID in 2020. And we were gradually going back to school, obviously, in 2021, which I think is what caused the death of this. Okay, and then we had our little portal to Season 2, obviously. So talking about Season 2 while I travelled to our next destination, because all this is just our little community thing that never really got any attention that it deserved. That's fine. Yeah, and we just have random dogs sitting everywhere. Said before. Okay, so into here, this was M2's base. He was probably one of the least active people on this server. So yeah, he had, pretty basic base. Just went, down here and stuff. Or up even. He never got to doing anything outside. It just kind of existed, So, one of the reasons that, people stopped playing, other than lockdown, was just the fact that when there's, not as many people playing, it can get a little bit boring, because most of the fun comes out of these games when you're doing it as, a community. So, when some people left, it was kind of sad because it slowly died off. And there was only, the consistent SSSDP, Zeta, Pocket, LHW GT07, me, and, maybe one other person, Burjo Turbo, playing. consistently. And because of that, the server did get a little bit boring. So here's SSSDP Space. You probably know this guy. I'm going to link his channel in the description or up in the top corner. We'll see. But if you want to know more about DC and the history behind it, please go watch his videos. Also, that might convince him to create more videos in the future. So, when we get to the Industrial District, I'll explain that. But he made like these characters. His favorite animal's a polar bear, so he made that as well. All out of wool, like entirely. This was his mega base as such. And he also made whatever this random thing is just here. I believe I'll go into the head after I go up into his polar bear. But I believe he made like a mob farm out of the top of one. Also, yeah, we had... Obviously, this is SSSDP's inventory because of how the world save was done. One of the reasons he doesn't play Diamondcraft anymore is because... I'll put this in the video. When Season 2 came out, or like right before... or SSSDP announced that he would not be playing anymore. And he made a whole video on like why he wouldn't be playing, so please go watch that, as I said, because it will support his channel and maybe make him make more videos. So, essentially, like, one of the things that got stolen from him, he had like a thing full of, you know, like, diamonds and whatnot in his vault as such. It was supposed to be like a symbol. It wasn't supposed to be like an actual vault, obviously. So that was one of the reasons he left. So flying up here now. I actually couldn't tell you what this was for. I believe there was a purpose for this, but I can't remember. It might have just been like one of the funny pranks we pulled on each other because, you know, it's close enough to his portal that if you go through it, you might spawn on any one of those. Oh, that was kind of a skill issue. So, you know, we had beacons and stuff everywhere. You know, he had like little farm here. He had his original sheep farm, his wool farm. So, obviously, I'll explain it later, but this was his, like, original wool farm here, right? So, before he went and did stuff in the Industrial District, he, you know, did stuff there. And this person here, SSSDP, was definitely one of the most active people on the server. He always was on, you know, he always had, like, great plans for the server. Yeah, and he's this little sugarcane farm as well. He always had great plans for the server, always knew what was going on, what he was going to do next. You know, he just had, like, great idea. Whoops. Anyway, so you've got Dr. Snow. It's his pet polar bear, obviously. You know, it's just his pet, because why not? You know, he just built, like, a little hidden base for a video idea. It's nothing, like, special. It was just, you know, a bit of fun. And some of the things like this is just, like, what I loved about this server so much. And what I miss, even more importantly. So, the fact that, you know, we had so much fun and different things throughout this server, and then just, like, because Will decided that he couldn't afford the server anymore, we quit, is one of the things that I just hate so much, because we had so much in Diamondcraft Season 1. Like, we probably had the most fun ever, okay? Okay, if we go up here somehow. Okay, so I don't think this was ever completed, obviously. I think it was supposed to go down there, down the leg and stuff. You know, you get the idea. This is where we first broke through into the nether. So if we go down this very, very long case, if you see, this is where we broke through on the roof. When we say we, I don't mean me, because LHW and I, we came late. We were latecomers. This was because, you know, we didn't have Minecraft Java at the time, and we still had to, like, get that to join, obviously. So, by the time we did that, the server was probably halfway through its time, which is quite sad, because we weren't here for the start. It wasn't quite halfway through. It's probably been open for the quarter total time that it was. Okay. But that doesn't matter. We still had a blast. So, this isn't even the last server. Sorry. This isn't even the last portal. So, as you can see, you know, we had our fun as things. Like, we would just zoom around on these on boats just for fun, you know. Because, why not? Like, we all had elytras, obviously, because everyone had access to the end, because that was like a community place where you could go do whatever you felt like, okay? Before we go through there, what's over here? I think this is just an AFK spot. That was another place that we broke through the nether. Okay, going through here, I believe this may be the wither farm. It was a community place, and we're going to make the most efficient wither farm possible. If we come up here, I'll show you why it was going to be the most efficient possible. Okay, so essentially what we've done. Let me go back up. We will go up here. I know that there's a castle too. So essentially, we're going to mine out. We were mining out like 100-something chunks, I think. So, there's one chunk there that you see we were in the process of mining. Like, LHW and I, we originally were, like, mining in here for netherite when we joined. So, that was, like, what we used this for. Because when we joined, we weren't really that big a part of, like, community builds and stuff. But as the server went on, we became a bigger part of community. So, like, if we go up here, I don't know if the machines are still here, but we had like miners and stuff that Zeta had set up. So Zeta and SSDP and I, we were probably doing the most work up here. I'd go as far to say that they were doing the most. So, like, you see, we had all this concrete and stuff to make this all, like, look good, see? And I don't know if they still exist, unfortunately, but we had miners. So, originally we were mining this all by hand. So, like, when I joined, oh yeah, see, here are the miners. When I joined, like, the server, this was, like, barely done. We just had the wither farm, we hadn't started mining. So, when I joined, Zeta was starting to mine out chunks. I may have died a few times here, but it was so much fun. Just, like, watching this big thing get mined out, and take into account, like, I had never actually played, like, a proper Minecraft server, just, you know, playing Minecraft PE as you do as a child. And, yeah, so watching this be developed and us dealing with the lava with, like, sand and stuff was amazing. And, you know, here are our miners, like, they weren't perfect because you had to replace them every single time that you wanted to move them. But it was so fun just watching them go, watching them dig out things for us. You know, you get the idea. Going back down here, well, you can see our goal was to get, like, the whole 100 and something chunks, I believe it was, down to that. And we're going to place lava down and then glass on top so nothing could spawn. And yeah, if you see that band down there, was literally what Lowy and I mined out just for netherite. Like, we had the most netherite on the server, hands down. So this Wither Skeleton farm in its prime was actually great. It worked so well. there's not much else to say up here. Like, I could take you through sort of that place, right? So, I guess you're already getting the idea that we had an amazing community on this server, and we just did like so much. Okay, so there's so many random nether portals that I probably never even went into and don't know that exist. Okay, so here's just a nothing again. It's like there's so many portals and stuff that are here that we were going to like do stuff with, but we just never got around to it because of the server shutdown without any notice too. Like, we got no notice that the server was going to shut down. It's just one day, you know, we saw Thomas was like, or SSDP was like, hey, unfortunately, the server's down. I'm going to get you a world save. But that will be the last that we see of this server. Okay, so this base was probably like, I go to say it was probably like Burjo Turbos or someone. I can't remember exactly because, you know, I haven't played on this server in 2 years, okay? So there's a bunch of random little bases and stuff that people made without telling anyone, so, like, we don't know what most of them are, okay? Coming over here, this was obviously someone's main base or whatever. Actually, I lied. This is the industrial district. So here was where we came together as an industry, or a community, I guess you should say, to create all our farms happily and live happily ever after. Okay. So over here, this was my first farm build on the whole server. This was my creeper farm. Dedicated for only creepers to spawn for gunpowder, I guess. It's realistically a gunpowder farm now, isn't it? Okay. I don't know if in this world save all the farms still work or not, but if they don't, I can guarantee to you they all worked in the actual server. So this thing was, you know, it was massive. Like, it was insanely productive. And yeah, coming back over here, so, you know, we just had a bunch of the random AFK points, way too high up in the air. This was Big Boy H-Man's original. It's not really a creeper farm, it's more random animal farm. It's not that efficient at all. Like, you get barely anything from this compared to mine out there. But even still, just having that farm there, you know, it's pretty cool. And since the fact that it's a multi-animal farm rather than just mine being a creeper farm, you know. This used to have a pretty entryway. Somebody either blew it up, or a creeper, multiple like creepers or a charged creeper blew it up, or something. I can't remember. But that was, if you go watch SSSDP's video, you know, that was one of the things. So SSSDP definitely had some of the most beautiful farms and the biggest farms on the server. So this wool farm here, as you can see, every single colour, massive. This sugarcane farm, all his. I think this was a farm in the progress of getting made. I think. Yeah. I believe it was a tree farm someone was making. Probably to copy me. This was John's bamboo farm, you know. It was semi-automated, I guess you could say, because you had to press this every time you wanted to. Yeah, you get it. One of the things that we found the issue with this server was just that, like, since we had this industrial district, and, like, we were running, when I say good server, it wasn't perfect, okay? It definitely had its issues. It definitely was not the most efficient server. I think we were only running on, like, 4 gigs of RAM. But it was hosted by Apex, so it was a decent server. and we love this server. But one of the issues that we had with it, as you can probably see here, is since we've got all these farms in such a close space, they just like always lag the server down, cause ping issues. Like, you know, that was the only issue that we really had. So this here was Zeta's tree farm. I can't remember what he used it for, but, you know, up was no oak and down was oak only, you know. So you were always free to come AFK at these farms, and if you discussed it with people that owned them, they would generally like give you a prize for that, you know. Like, they would generally say, oh, since you did that, you can go take, you know, X amount of wood, like whatever you did or slightly less, you know. This was my bone meal farm. It was, you know, it was a bit broken. I had to fix it probably every third time it actually got used. So I can't remember how you send it off or whether it was automated, but anyway, essentially, I did that, and what my old profile picture was, I don't know if I still have the file somewhere, but it was, I brought all this wool from SSTP, so that's a bunch of hoppers. It was probably the least efficient thing I've ever done, because it's just like hopper all the way over to my tree farm. So this thing was, it works, you know. It wasn't the most efficient thing in Minecraft history. It definitely was not as good as, you know, Zeta's. You know, you're supposed to have bone meal in there. You're supposed to sit here with a... Hang on, if I turn that off quickly. If I just get some seeding. I'll be back in a second. Okay, we're back. So I have these saplings, right? You turn this on. You sit here with the sapling just going like that. You know, theoretically, you can go on forever, and that, you know, that drops every once in a while, blows it all up, goes into a chest, you know, easy. So, that's essentially the industrial district and all the builds that was in it. There was probably a couple more off to sea that, you know, you can't see from here. But, you know, you get the idea. It wasn't okay. So we probably defeated the Ender Dragon a few hundred times in here. We've been through every single portal, even through that one. You just can't see it there. We at one point we were mining all of these down to like nothing, just to farm the obby. Well, I think we got about half done, and then we kind of just like gave up. Okay, I believe, if I'm correct, is this what I think it is? If I don't miss. Okay. Going down through here, we just gotta replace the hole in the roof, don't worry about it. This was our community Ender farm. It was made by the community for the community. This was how we farmed XP. It's the loudest thing ever, so block your ears. It was so efficient. Everyone loved it, and, you know, Ender Pearls as well. It was great. Like, this was our main source of XP. Like, it's obviously not the most efficient anymore. Like, obviously, there's new ways to farm more XP, but if we start a new server, I would still go that way, just because of how fun Ender farms are to build, and, yeah, you get the idea. Okay, coming around the other side of the end. So we had our little huts, you know, just for fun. I think they did serve a purpose to defend ourselves a little bit. Somewhere around here, I built a... Can't remember if it was in here or whether it was through one of the portals. I just know that in the end somewhere, I built a honey farm. I thought it... Someone, I'm pretty sure, destroyed it, which is why I probably can't find it. But I had a honey farm in here, so I was like Zeta's competitor in honey farming. And it was, you know, it was great fun. Okay, how about we just go through the designated hole in the ground? Might be smarter. This was... Okay, this is Big Boy H-Man space, okay? So in here, you know, he had his quartz thing, whatever it was, and all of his planets. Somewhere around here... I can't remember where it was. You know. Okay, over here. Oh, there's the industrial district, like literally just over there. Like not very far. I believe this was like one of Lost Space, I think. No, just like little... There really wasn't much in here. So like, he built a mega base later on. Coming over here, this was one of the most memorable places on this server for me. This was LHW, GT07, and my house, okay? So, you know, everyone else, like, B-Boy H-Man had their cool mega bases, you know, these cool, like, Guardian farms that, you know, he has somewhere on this server. I might find it later, I might not. Lowy and I, we just grabbed as much iron from the iron farm as we could, made a house that was really crappily designed. Like, it was a really crap design. You know, we had, like, our storage and, you know, smelter room. We had our storage and smelter room. We had our, you know, like our, whatever this place was. I think this was a, yeah, cobble farm. Like, a really basic cobble farm. So, like, this house wasn't very well designed. You know, also we had, like, trash bin. It was funny. Yeah, it was really useless. Doesn't matter. But, you know, we had our storage. There'll be nothing in there because of the same reason as there's nothing in everywhere else. If I'm correct, through here... Yep, we had, this is, excuse the zombie, this is where we stored, you know, stuff and had all our special items that we didn't want people to know about. Obviously, it wasn't covered by obsidian. That was just what happened, okay? Little battle thing, okay? Can't remember exactly what the purpose of it was. I believe it was for a video. But anyway. With a normal render distance, you can't see any of this from our house. So, we had our own private area. I'm just running on the maximum, like, render distance possible. This was Zeta's Guardian farm, I believe. Not Guardian, sorry. Raid farm. So, it was crazy efficient. Like, this is where everyone got all their stuff from. This was insanely efficient. I believe it's the Guardian farm. I mean, yeah, you get the... So, the story behind why Lowy and I decided to go together was literally just because, you know, we were great friends. And we joined late, so we just decided, you know, like, why not just go together? That means we can get double the progress done. And we, together, ended up basically ruling the world. Like, we probably... I would go to say that we became one of the strongest people on the server. That might create some controversy, but, you know. So, going back through here... that was the shops. Oh, actually, I haven't been through here. This is the shopping district that we're going in through now, okay? So... This is another community place where you were able to go sell your products that you either had mined or had a farm for. So, like, obviously, SSSDP had his sugarcane farm. This was where we had, like, a diamond. It was like a diamond thing. So, the idea was for every shop that you made, so for every bit of land that you claimed, you had to pay a diamond. Like, a diamond block. They all got stolen. So after that, we would replace them for the content idea of it, but after that, we kind of just, like, we replaced them and then, got rid of them. This was Zeta's, shop for these. Obviously, you got the diamonds in here. It's 1 diamond, 1 totem. It was a great deal, Coming back over here, we had Lowy and my first shop, okay? So through here, it was, like, really shocking design again. We had all our, like, firework rockets. Might actually take some of them. 1 diamond for 3 stacks. Like, what a actual, like, whopping deal. We sold so many of these during, like, when this shop was first opened, because then people didn't have to, go through. We also had our gold ingots. 1 diamond for 2 stacks, Then we had something in here. I can't remember what it was going to be. We had... It wasn't shockingly designed, but, Then through here, we had another idea for another section of the shop, but it just never happened because the server shut down. If you're getting my point, the server should not have shut down. Okay. Through here... so this was where you paid for the track. So the track that we were at, probably ages ago by now, the racing track, you paid 2 diamonds to enter here, okay? Then you read the rules at the track. I didn't read them, obviously, because I'm lazy. And, then you get to go race around it with your friends. It was great fun. I believe it was going to be a tournament with a few lap race, It was going to be great, but I don't believe it ended up happening because the server shut down. This was the bookshop owned by, I believe, Zeta. So, you had all your silk touches, sharpness, fortune, every book almost that, people want. It was, that was probably one of the most profitable shops, but one of the issues was, since we all relied on it so much, it never actually had stock. It was always empty. Like, you'd go there thinking, oh, let me go get this book that I need. And it was always empty. Bread. Mushroom stew. I believe this is Bojo Turbo's shop here. In this bit here. I can't remember, actually. It probably was, because there's nothing here. Bojo Turbo joined the latest out of all of us. He got, like, barely any progress done. He barely knew how Minecraft worked. Sorry, Bojo, but you really kind of had no clue. In here, this was SSSDP's wool shop, okay? This was, like, one of the places where you would go to buy anything decorative. Like, he had so much stock of every single thing of wool because of his massive, farm. You get what I'm getting at. This was Zeta's, wood shop. It's nothing special. That's what he uses, like, wood farm for this. Nothing special, okay? It's just, even if these things aren't always stocked, it's kind of just the seeing what everyone can do, This was Big Boy H-Man's, like, scam farm. Okay, so for people who joined new, they didn't know that we had the community ender farm, and they didn't know that they could just go there. They thought that was owned by someone. Also, before we had that, this is where you came for ender pearls. So you had, ender pearls, 2 stacks of 1 diamond, such a scam. You had to actually pay for them. Over here used to be shulker boxes, but then people kind of just started doing it themselves. But that shop was such a scam. Like, it barely ever got any sales. Just a waste of a diamond block because, No one ever went there because you could just go to the community ender farm and do the same thing yourself. Okay, and coming back through here. We're gonna go left here. No, we're not, because that's the end. Have we already been through that portal? I believe so. No, we have not, but this is the... Yeah, this is the Guardian farm. The raid farm. Coming down here. No, that's just, you know. So there's so many, like, random portals that I've never been through. Just because, what, you know, that's our house. You know, we'll get to the rest of the stuff eventually. Coming through this portal over here that I completely forgot existed. So here, this was Zeta's base. This was before, I believe this was Zeta's base. Or maybe, no, this was his villager trading, like, hub thing. So in here he had all his villagers. They're all dead, obviously, because the way that the world save was done, because John's world is a spud. So this was Will's... Actually, no. John's world wasn't a spud. He moved them all over to here. This was his mega base. This is where he moved all his trading stuff to. No, it was amazing design. Like, look at it. So, I don't know. You guys might have seen, like, in Season 2, he did, like, a copper roof on, like, a massive house. Like, he likes this. Every farm you see, he'll have this design. Or every base, you know, he'll have a similar design. So, like, in Season 2, he built, like, a massive thing. You know, he had little tree farms here. I'll go back through his big portal. But Zeta had some of the most amazing bases. That's what I'm trying to say. He had a villager breeder, everything that, you know, you could ever need here. And sadly enough, like, because the server shut down, we never actually got to see the potential of what the plans that he had here. Like, it was quite sad, actually. This is just another space. Don't think it ever really got used. I think it was probably someone like Burjo Turbo's base, but, you know, we'll never actually know for sure. And, I mean, after all, like, a lot of these, like, things just, like, never really, like, got properly built because the server got shut down. Now, if John's World was a proper, like, supporter of Diamondcraft, what he would have done was he would have actually done a proper world save, but no, he was too lazy and forced SSSDP to use a client-side version of it and to do it himself. Going off to the left, this is our final path of this server. Other than this, you've seen everything else. We've already been through there. Actually, no, we've already been to this bit. Maybe it was down here. Ah, yes. This was the massive gold farm that Lowy and I spent way too long creating. It's not efficient, I can tell you that. It's the most efficient farm we had on this server. Let me get rid of this man. Get away from me. The most efficient farm we had on this server. It's also probably the biggest. Okay, so if we go just over here, this is where all the gold went to. Insanely efficient, you know, nothing special. You'd have to, you know, it was a little bit buggy because of the way that it worked, but you know, it works. That's the thing. Like, it's just amazing watching everything that gets built on this server just like get used. It's amazing like that. So coming through down here, this is Bojo Turbo Space. There's not much to show here. I'm not even gonna go to it. He basically had a little underground section. You know, we also had like these mini games, like I think WS. I don't know. I can't remember. We're back to the end portal. So we had like little mini games. So Lostcraft invented this little mini game called WSC. I don't remember really. It was just like a little thing where I had to hide like a secret base, you know. Nothing special. It's just little fun games, right? So I didn't show you every single farm on this server, obviously, because that would be way too hard. So essentially, coming back to the profile picture ending, okay. Sergeant Duckling, my new name, okay. I'm hoping to post like a fair bit in the next, you know, probably I'm hoping like once a month or every 2 months. Like, I'm hoping to get at least 6 videos out in a year's span. Now, the purpose of this video, like the real purpose, like I'm not just creating a tour of Season 1 server. I'm showing you why I think that we should. So we had a Season 2, right? That was great until it shut down. And I think that's what started to kill the vibe of the Diamondcraft name. Because we kind of just, you know, we've had 2 servers shut down on us as we're starting to like really get onto it and community builds. This server was open for less than a year. Much less than a year, actually. No, not much, but, you know, you get the idea. It's less than a year. I'm showing you what we can do as a community. And this was the most fun thing that we ever had done, okay? It was so fun. Like, it's so memorable experience. Okay, so we had DC1, this server. The most amazing server I've ever played on. The idea was for it to be Hermitcraft. There was obviously some stealing and griefing. You know, you can't really help that with the people that we ended up inviting near the end. But then that doesn't matter. Then we have Diamondcraft 1 Anarchy server. No rules, just don't hack, essentially. You know, the whole idea was that to be more like a PvP server. You get the idea. Then we also had Diamondcraft 2. Now, this was the second real server. We were all hyped. Went for like 2 months, and then Zeta shut it down because he had no money. And he's broke, or he was broke. And also, he didn't even get a world download. That was the saddest part. No world download. There's nothing to show off for Season 2. And his massive his massive copper base, you know, the massive copper farm he made, the massive cobble farm I made, all the different farms that we made in Season 2, we didn't get to show off because there was no world download. Now, Diamondcraft, I'm going to call it Season 2.5. Officially, it was called Diamondcraft 3 Reborn, or Diamondcraft Reborn. It's really a 2.5, okay? It was a modded server. Recoil and I hosted it. So, obviously, there was Recoil space during this, Recoil and Pocket Space sometimes during this server. They joined later as well. But that's not the point. Recoil and I hosted Season 2.95. We both put in money, or Reborn. We hosted Reborn. We put in money, brought a server host for relatively cheap. We had 8 gigabytes and a great PC, or server running it. And, you know, it was costing us not that much money, so we thought, oh yeah, this will be great fun. Now, the issue with the modded server is you have to get everyone to install mods. No one wants to install mods. So that server was kind of a failure. There was just a couple of us that liked modded server playing. So that was the last official server of Diamondcraft. The whole point of this video is that I'm going to host an official Diamondcraft 3. It probably will be in a couple months' time, but by the end of the year, I want to have a Diamondcraft 3 with only the original Diamondcrafters. So me, SSSDP, Lowy, Zeta, Pocket, Recoil, maybe Birjo Turbo, and Big Boy H-Man. Now, the Discord server that we had, so for Diamondcraft Discord server, it was always a great place to hang out, go have fun, go chat, just do fun things. That's where the VCs were always the hottest, great fun. And then in Season 2, all of Frag Dragon and those guys came along. They ruined Diamondcraft's name, which is one of the reasons no one wants to play on it anymore, because they griefed, they blew things up, they stole. They ruined people's farms. It was so bad. Okay, shocking. And then, since there was no more Diamondcrafts running, they changed the Diamondcraft Discord server, the greatest place to hang out, the calm, fun place. They changed it into essentially a cult. And they said, we'll have elections for presidents every 3 months. For over a year now, Frag Dragon's been president. And it's no longer a great place to hang out. So essentially, I want to start a new DC called DC3 or Diamondcraft 3. It's going to be a vanilla server just with, a couple of vanilla tweaks, just like Season 1. And I'm going to leave it open because we will not be paying for the server.